Hey guys, this is an explanation of our flat forward zonal defensive system. This is the focus on the 2v2s. First off, I want you guys to think of this as a learning and a reference tool for the offensive and defensive players. Um, Defensive players, this is great for understanding the system and how we move and how we pass players on. For offensive players, though, it's a really good tool to allow you to see what types of defenses you'll be playing against, and that can be really valuable for offensive players, especially forwards. Okay, in terms of the filming, I've focused a lot on the mistakes that we made in this video. So, um, but I was only filming a single group of guys, and I did most of the filming before I had given them very much instruction. So I wanted to see the mistakes so that we could go over them and correct them. Over the past couple weeks, we've remedied most of those mistakes, but this is still a good reference tool for some of the most common things that I was seeing in those early days. And with that being said, don't take the critique too personally. Some of you might see yourselves in this video a lot, but that's mostly just due to the filming process and which examples looked the best on the camera. So don't take it personally. We've all been making these exact same mistakes for the past couple of weeks. Most of them are gone now. So don't get discouraged if you see yourself in there a lot. It doesn't mean anything. Where you start doesn't really matter. It's all about the improvement. So just keep a positive mind about it, and hopefully this is helpful.
Okay, our areas of emphasis for the video is going to be defending the overlap and specifically cutting out any crossovers between defenders. We're also going to look at our positioning, whether it's the on-ball defender or the help/support defender, and we're going to be looking at transitioning between those two positions. We're also, I know it's 2v2, but you can't really have an effective 2v2 defending without good 1v1 defending, so we have some examples of that. We're going to look at the importance of communication, that it's constant, that it's loud, that each player knows where their teammates are on the field and what they're thinking at all times, because this is a team defensive strategy. Finally, we're going to be using college and professional examples throughout this video, and
that serves two main purposes. The first is to show you guys what zone defense looks like at higher levels of competition. The second, and I think more important, is that it'll allow me to show you guys full field examples, and you can see that despite it being 11v11, a lot of defending breaks down into individual 2v2 matchups. So we'll look at that. Okay, first up we have a crossover by the defense right there, leading directly to a goal. Nice try, keeper. Okay, so as we break this down, you can see that the white team actually is in pretty good position here to defend this properly. All they would need to do is that the on-ball defender would jump over to the overlap runner, while that second defender you see coming in would become the on-ball defender. If they do this, both of those players would be forced to the sideline, and it would completely cut them off from the center of the field. Okay, instead they cross over and look at the space that's now been opened up. Now that player on ball has access to the entire center of the field with no pressure, and he's able to play the ball in for an assist. Okay, here we have some examples of the crossover happening from our training. As you can see right there, the space is opened up, however we get away with it on that example. Again, crossover happens right there, space opens up, missed pass, but he had the opportunity. Here's from another angle, you can see as the crossover happens, that space gets opened up, the offensive player is able to dribble across the field. And here it happens again right there. Luckily the defense gets a poke. Here we go again. There's the space opened up that you can see. And there it is again. And this space can be exploited on the pass or the dribble. So right there you saw it happen on the pass. Here we have another crossover combined with the miscommunication I was talking about. Okay, here we have a college example of the overlap defended properly. Pay attention to how much space there is available for white at the beginning. Okay, as it's defended properly, watch the space close down quicker and again until blue takes the ball. Here is a professional example, and again look at how much space red has to play with at the beginning. As the overlap is defended correctly, all those red players are cut off and red's forced to play the ball back. Win for the defense. Okay, here we have examples from our training in which the overlap was defended correctly. Watch how quickly the space gets closed down and the ball gets stolen. Here we have my favorite sequence because it shows you exactly what wrong versus right looks like. So in the first, we get the ball cut off and stolen. Okay, the offensive players steal it back. Defenders get right back into position. That's great. Okay, now again, we're in a great position to stop this. Again, the left defender should take ball. Right defender should take the runner. Right defender steps up, and the left defender didn't, and that basically makes him go 2-on-1, leading to a goal. Pay attention to the current on-ball defender right here. Okay, as this ball is played across and he becomes the help defender, look where he adjusts to. Alright, this serves two main purposes. The first, like we've talked about, it allows him to help on the dribble if the now on-ball defender gets beat. But second, and more importantly, if you notice on the bottom left corner of the screen, there's that other white offensive player, the forward. Okay, as that help defender has tucked in far enough, he's completely cut off that pass, which is going to force white to play the ball back. In our training, I'm starting with examples where the help defender did not get far enough in, and it leads to that channel being too far open right there. That's the pass we want to prevent. From this angle, you can see it again. Notice how the help defenders don't come more than 1 or 2 yards in. And see that big gap right in between them. Okay, eventually the offense notices this and goal. Okay, we're going to look at some 1v1 breakdowns. These first two happen when the help defender is too far back and has too big of a distance to close when he becomes the on-ball defender, leading to an open shot. The rest of these breakdowns are mostly due to moves by the offense, and as a defender, this just comes with experience. You just got to get exposed to these moves more and more, and eventually you'll be able to anticipate them. Here, though, we have an overcommitment by that player there. Defense gets away with it, kind of, I guess. But compare that to this possession, where the on-ball defender doesn't get too high, and he's able to step in front of the offensive player, forcing him out of bounds. And again, breaking down the closeout early, staying aggressive but in control, leads to a steal. Here's what I consider to be some of the better positioning sequences. As you can see, we're allowing that side-to-side ball because it's not really posing a threat. once the offense tries to go forward, that's when we step in. And again here. This sequence, however, is interesting. So as this on-ball defender becomes the help defender, watch where his drop goes. It's straight back, okay, forcing him to be a little out of position as the help defender. Okay, he eventually moves in, and that's good, but we really want that initial drop from being the on-ball defender to the help defender to be more diagonal and to keep our body open to the field rather than get closed off. So in this video, you can see that the drop is diagonal, just like that, and he's able to keep his body open to both his player and the player on ball. Okay, finally, we have an example of what I would consider perfect defending between Tottenham and Leicester. Pay attention two things. First, how much space Leicester starts with on the attack and how much they end with. And second, how many 2v2s you count throughout this possession. I count 4. Here's the first. Here's the second. Here comes the third on the overlap. And we finish up with a fourth right there. Okay, as you might have noticed, everything we've been talking about throughout this 2v2 series can be seen in this possession. So the first thing that's going to happen, the center back is going to step up, force the ball wide. Okay, he's the on-ball defender. That right back is the help defender. You can see his positioning there, halfway in between. Now he becomes on ball. He's going to stunt to slow the ball down, but then take runner. Okay. As the ball gets switched across, we have the left back now forcing the ball wide. Okay, waiting until he can get help, and now taking the overlap runner. Okay, now he becomes the on-ball defender, gets to the ball. You can see his help is there if he needs it, but he's able to block a really tough cross. Okay, as a final word, I'd just say that to remember that everyone on the team defends, whether you're a forward, a midfielder, obviously a defender, but this type of system works best when all 11 players are involved. When players take breaks, it tends to break down everything. Focus on hard work gets us good results in terms of improvement. I've seen tons of improvement over the last 2 weeks that we've worked on this. So if we continue that, we'll be looking really good by the time season starts. And lastly, the next time you're watching pro or college soccer, if you watch it, pay attention to how they defend as individuals and look for the 2v2s because they're there. And then as well, don't just look just at the goals, how they're scored, but look to the breakdowns that cause the goal. As you get older, goals are scored further in advance in the play, and that's true for a lot of team sports. And by that I mean, the breakdown that causes a goal may happen 3 or 4 passes before it's actually scored. So keep an eye out for that. Helps you become a more intelligent player.